Good morning, everybody. It's Goten here for episode 5 of the Avengers Shoot podcast. We got some stuff lined up. We have SmackDown to talk about. We got some YouTube drama on the channel. And some upcoming content on the channel. Of course, WrestleMania, day 1's today, day 2's tomorrow, so go out for that. We'll start off with some drama, though. This is the juicy stuff. I don't want you guys to wait on this. So, there's this kid. I guess I should mention, this is the technically second episode, because episode 3 went up on the channel. This is the first technical episode going up on the channel. The YouTube channel, the Appalachian Avengers, obviously, along with, of course, Anchor, Spotify, and everywhere else where you can find the podcast. Links in the description if you're watching from YouTube. But young Wookie has been a subject of some stuff on the channel. We made a response to his very, very terrible diss track. And since then, he's done nothing but spam our comments to make our own diss track, and we'll confirm that is going to be happening. Harpo is working on that, along with a couple other people behind the scenes. That'll be happening at some point. We're not going to rush it, because obviously we want ours to be good and not absolute garbage. But yeah, that's going to be having to explain it for you guys. First, we had some trouble with Wild Aces. Now, both ourselves and Wild have sort of moved on. We've kind of just try to move on from the situation, make other content, and Wild's doing his thing, we're doing our thing. All the respect's a strong term. We were just, feuding on Twitter and YouTube, I guess if you want to call it that. But we don't have issues right now with Wild anymore, really. He probably still hates me, but that's fine. A lot of people do. Young Wookie's kind of the big issue right now. This kid who's legally, it looks like he's 8 and legally not supposed to be on YouTube. Claims to be 14. If he's 14, I'm 30, and I'm a CEO of a company. A successful company, that is. But we'll go ahead and move swiftly on from that. We'll go with, we'll start talking about what everybody's here for. The SmackDown results. The show started with Miz and Morrison laying out the Usos and New Day. And it's just special stuff here. This kind of goes against the rumor of one of the Usos facing Morrison, that being the match instead of the triple threat. So maybe the triple threat's still happening, which for our prediction, both Harpo and I are still going with the Usos to win. So it is what it is, regardless if it's the singles match or the triple threat for the tag titles. Next, we had Naomi versus Lacey Evans versus Tamina, it was a match. Ultimately, Tamina ended up winning after Bayley interfered, letting her hit the super kick on Naomi, I believe, get the 3 count. After that, Bayley came in trying to get Tamina to be like the heavy of her and Sasha's alliance. She got a super kick for her troubles, and then Sasha came in, tried to also do the same thing, took a Samoan drop, which would look pretty brutal. I'm not gonna lie. And Tamina stood tall, aka she'll be taking the fall in the 5-way. That's what that means, most likely, because she's definitely not winning. But yeah, that it's good build-up, I guess. It was a thing. Tamina got a win for once. There's that. Next, they replayed Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels from WrestleMania and Flair's retirement match. Not much to say about that. It's a replay. It was a WrestleMania match. It's a good match, sure. There's not that much to say, to be 100% honest, but obviously Michaels wins. We'll just move swiftly along to actual current events. Next up, we had a little backstage segment with Otis and Tucker, as Otis would call him. I can't do a good Otis impression. I apologize for all the viewers at home, but it's fine. And Otis gets a text during the segment before we go to the ring for Tucker versus Dolph Ziggler. It was fine. It did all it needed to. Mandy was out at one point. Sonya came out at one point. Tucker won by DQ after Ziggler hit a zigzag on the steel steps. One of the highlights is Tucker yeeting Ziggler into the steps and moving not only the top part of the steps, but the bottom part, which doesn't move too often. So there's that. That's pretty cool. Honestly, it was pretty dope. Next up, So there was the weird hacking stuff, which everyone assumes is Ollie. I don't really care. It's nothing special. The dude's identity was not revealed. But then after that, it was revealed Sonya was actually the one who sent the text for the whole Valentine's Day shenanigans. And so turned her back on Mandy. Mandy ran off. Sony ran after her. Later on, this was later, there was backstage. Sony felt bad, and Mandy's probably getting on a line of heavy machinery, which she does have some heavy machinery of her own. So there's that. And it's looking more and more like Otis is hopefully going to win at Mania. Please do. We'll move on from that to probably the best part of the night, besides maybe the closer of the show was pretty good. Best probably match. Daniel Bryan versus Shinsuke Nakamura. It was a pretty basic SmackDown match, but it worked. Ultimately, Bryan won by DQ after interruptions from Cesaro and of course Sami Zayn. They hit Sami Zayn hit his Haluva kick where Cesaro and Shinsuke are holding up Bryan. Let's be honest, Daniel Bryan is gonna win at WrestleMania. I don't see him not winning. Yeah, I mean, it'll be a good match. It'll be a great match if given time. So I'm pretty excited for that. Obviously, both Harpo and I predicted Daniel Bryan to win, make the Intercontinental title sort of the workhorse title again of SmackDown or Raw or wherever. Whatever Brandon ends up on, if they do a draft or brand superstar shakeup or whatever they do after Mania, it's hard to tell, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's the last match. We have one more segment, though. John Cena came out, cut promo, how he's going to bury Bray Wyatt and squash him. So he's not. And then he said he's going to win at Mania, whichever time Cena says he's going to win. 95% of the time he loses. So there's that. Bray Wyatt, Rambling Rabbit and Sister Abigail and everyone, we're all in the crowd. Started shaking because, fun shenanigans since it's pre-taped and there's no crowd, which is going to be phenomenal at Mania if they do a bunch of shenanigans in their Firefly Funhouse match. Bray Wyatt comes out. Cena accepts his challenge. The match is official. Firefly Funhouse match. Bray Wyatt, John Cena. It's sort of already official. Bray Wyatt or The Fiend definitely needs to win. You can't convince me otherwise. There's no reason for Cena to win, besides to bury Bray again, which, I mean, it is what it is. It happens quite a bit, but still. Bray, The Fiend, Wyatt needs to win. That's all I'm saying. But that kind of concludes SmackDown. We got through that pretty quickly. So after the break from our sponsor, of course, Anchor, we'll talk about some channel stuff. There's a lot of channel stuff to go over, though, so stick around for that. This episode of the Avengers Shoot podcast is sponsored by Anchor. Anchor allows you to make a podcast much easier. It has a lot of creation tools for you to record and edit your podcast right from an app on your phone or computer. It's free, which is always a great plus. It'll help you distribute your podcast to platforms such as Spotify and Apple Podcasts and many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, and it's everything you really need to make a podcast just in one place. It's really a great deal. So I use it, and many others use it. Get Anchor or use the website anchor.fm to get started on creating your own podcast. All right, and we are back. Thanks as always to Anchor for being the longtime sponsor of the podcast. Of course, if anyone other company wants to sponsor us, hit us up. But we got some channel stuff to talk about, mostly upcoming content. Not too much channel news that hasn't already been addressed in an update video on YouTube. Hopefully we don't have to make another update video, but the only channel news I think is that we're uploading a bit less. But now podcasts will be uploaded to the channel the same day as they are everywhere else. They will go out 1 hour later on YouTube just to give people a chance to watch them on Spotify. And I still recommend watching them on Spotify. It supports us if you want to support us a bit more. We make money off the plays from Spotify and Anchor. So if you want to support us, literally watch it on there instead of YouTube. YouTube supports us too, don't get me wrong. You do either or if you want. It's up to you. Obviously, and we thank you for the support either way. But, having a budget would be pretty cool. Because right now, we don't make any money from anything, obviously, besides the podcast. So support is always appreciated. never, you're not required to go only watch on Spotify or Anchor. Watch it on YouTube. It's cool. Share it. That's cool if you want to support us. We're trying to do everything we can to not only continue to improve, but also keep being able to put out content and hopefully eventually get paid back for it, because it takes up overtime right now, which granted, everybody has a lot of time right now, but still, you get what I'm saying. We want to make this a potential career, myself and Harpo, and Hoovian if he sticks around. But we'll go ahead and move on. Some upcoming videos you guys might want to look out for. We got a story time coming very soon about it's a first story kind of talk about our game design class, which is a couple stories from, we could probably tell. We dub it the Yoshi evades taxes story, which, for some context, Harpo made a game, and this isn't the full story, called Yoshi evades taxes in game design. But we talk about that and why and what came from it in the story time. It'll be coming up very soon. So look out for that. Let's see. Obviously the diss track is coming on the Fool, the Coward. Not a coward. The very low IQ person. I'm trying to find the nicest ways to also insult him at the same time. Yeah, that's coming at some point. That's Harpo's thing. He's got somebody else who might be working with somebody else behind the scenes, a friend of ours, to help create that, who's also pretty good at making music, and hopefully that goes well. Some stuff in terms of the gaming side, which is really where I, come from. So I started the I Played series with I Played Wizard 101, where I just play games that you guys either recommend or that I want to play. That's finally coming back. I Played the Stanley Parable is coming soon. And yeah, not only that, we got some Siege content coming really soon, once again. We're finally back to some Siege. We finally decided to play it again a couple times, and we'll probably keep playing. It's not a great game. It's worse than it was when I stopped playing, but that's because it's Siege and it's Ubi, so you can really only ask for so much nowadays. But it's still fun enough. We still had a fun time. We did an entire stream where we did nothing but strat roulette pretty much, and that was a fun time. That's what the stream will be probably. So have fun with that. We got some Minecraft funny moments, or I haven't decided if I want to call them funny moments or Minecraft with the boys. Both are great titles. One's a bit more clickbaity than the other, and more clickable than the other. So you know what I'm saying. But that's some content coming up in the near future. Some stuff that's a bit ways away, or just stuff that's only gonna happen if you guys want to see it. Minecraft Into the Snow Season 2, or Into the Nether. That'll be what it's called. It's the successor to our series back in September. Minecraft Into the Snow. It's August and September. Around that time, I ran, I believe, 15-part series? 20-part series. One of the two. I can't remember. I think 15-part series. It's been a while. We've done a lot of content since then. But I ran a Minecraft series, which ended with us sort of just moving away from the snow and possibly setting up a season 2. Mostly because I was honestly not enjoying the series that much. Well, it's not that I didn't enjoy the series, it's just I felt it wasn't great content to watch. It was fun making, but there's a lot of quietness and there's a lot of it wasn't a very entertaining series, and I'm willing to admit that. The first couple episodes I think they were all right. They were great for the content we made at the time. But at that point, we wanted to move on, start doing some better stuff. And yeah, that's when we started, investing, started focusing on slowly improving editing. We started to actually focus on improving instead of just making content at the level we were. So there's that. But yeah, Into the Snow Season 2 or Into the Nether will be coming when the update drops on Bedrock officially. Technically, you can play right now if you're a beta tester or whatever. I don't want to do that. I just want to wait till it drops. Then I'll be dropping Into the Nether as quick as possible. Hopefully within a day you'll get the first episode. I'm going to stream the crap out of it, make content, and yeah, that'll be a lot of your stuff coming from me for a while at that point till we start to, obviously slow down. And yeah. That's your stuff. That's your big series coming. There's also another video I could do. So if you haven't watched it, that's Tough Story. I'm sure on YouTube it'll be linked in the description. Obviously, can't link it on Spotify or Anchor, but you just go to our channel. It's the I finally asked her, and this was her response, or something like that. That was the title. It's the That's Tough Story about where that phrase came from. Well, the guy we dubbed Simp in that story actually came at me for making the video, even though it was a story time, and he said we were coming at him again. It was a story time. But if you want me to make a video about that, I can. I'm gonna leave that up to you guys. Let me know in the comments on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Spotify or Anchor, I believe there's a way to message us, at least on Anchor. Let me know if you want to see it. If you're watching on YouTube, let me know in the comments or like this podcast episode, either or. But that's potential video coming. So that's all I really got to say in terms of future content. As now, there's other stuff I want to do, but it's obviously not in the works. This is all the stuff that I want to say is in the works. There's a couple other things I'd call it in pre-production that I have ideas that I want to do. It's just I haven't really started on it just yet. There's obviously the I played ... series I want to start doing. Play different games. Siege might be an episode just because it'd be a solo episode of Siege, obviously. It's kind of my random thing. There's a couple other games I want to play that are on like Game Pass and are indie games and stuff like that. So I'll be trying to do more of that. I just don't have any episodes, started or exactly planned. There's a couple more story times with Goten I could do that are separate from the, stories of AA. Where I just sit down and talk for a couple minutes about something that happened. And there's a couple other things that a couple other videos I want to do. And overall, that's really all in terms of content. Channel news, Hoovians, obviously, or Nomad, has changed his name. I don't know why, still. Even though it's been a couple weeks, I still am used to calling him Hoovian. He's going to try to appear more videos. He's got a clip. I'm still just trying to find a way to use content to use it in. I might do maybe next story time like Goten, put it in the background along with some other gameplay. Yeah, we're trying to get him involved in any way we can. He doesn't have the setup that me or Harpo do because he never really, I don't think, planned to ever inspire to do YouTube or anything like we did, or anything of that matter. But he's a good friend, and obviously he's been working with us since pretty much the beginning. I guess one more video I could do is finally make a video about what happened with Fast Hunter. But that'd probably be more of like an actual either podcast or podcast style video of myself, Harpo, and Nomad. We could do that though at some point in time. And yeah, I think that's just about everything. Off the top of my head, I mean, there's not really much of a channel update I need, or any update or news I need to tell you guys about. We might get into a war of fatal with the clan, because I think one of their leaders or former leaders or something hates us now. I don't know how we managed that. We didn't do much. It just happens because people just happen to hate me, apparently, and hate Harpo sometimes too. So there's that. But I think that's it. I think that's just about everything. So yeah, that's gonna go ahead. We'll go ahead and get out of here. I want to thank you guys for coming out. And to the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, like I said, hit that subscribe button, support the podcast if you enjoyed. If you're on Spotify, just share it with your friends. Follow our podcast so you can see up to the videos and episodes and everything as soon as they come out. If you're on Anchor, there's a support option. If you have the money, you want to support us, that's an option. You don't have to, obviously, it's never required. But if you just want to drop it's kind of like a donation, it would help greatly. You don't have to. Obviously, you'll never have to. We'll keep chugging along. But like I said, if you share the podcast, that's cool, honestly. And just check us out. And yeah, I'll be back very soon with episode 6, probably about WrestleMania. So yeah, catch you guys then.